pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
That sounds like a funeral in here. Come on, where's your patriotic spirit?
Okay.
Everyone's sleeping. All right. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Roll call.
Bill Heaton, not here. Candace France, not here. Bob Tate,
Here.
Justin.
Here.
Jake Tate is absent.
On his way.
Yeah, he's on his way. Ryan Soyson.
Here.
And Mayor.
Here.
Okay. Kevin, citizens' comments, questions, advisory committee. Oh, we'll do citizens first. Do we have citizens
Yes.
having? Okay.
We have Michael Orlowski,
Okay, Mike.
100 Ross Avenue, Beaver Falls.
Okay, and I didn't know there was a workshop / council.
Okay, that's
That's
okay.
all right.
I haven't been there for a while. Just a couple of issues where I live. 100 Ross coming into Railroad Street. If you guys have, it's coming out of White Township. Goes
Is that
to-
Mark May's place?
Comes to the railroad tracks and goes to Boyd and then out. But I talked to the Borough Park guy that was cutting fields and stuff. I told him the sewer line was collapsing on Railroad Street. And he said, "You mean the storm drain?" I said, "No, the sewer line." He goes, "We haven't touched the sewer line in 20 years. I go, "Yeah, I know. It was 25 years ago. It's starting to collapse." My sewer's good, but I'm kind of worried for you guys that, he goes, "That's just erosion. That's typical erosion." I go, "After 25 years." And he said, "I'll get back to you," and he never did.
What's it, I mean, when you're saying it's collapsing,
It's sinking.
how can you see the sewer?
You can't see the sewer, you can see the road. The road's here. And it's like. So after 20-some years,
And that's Jake.
he said, "It's typical erosion, don't worry." I go, "After 25 years?"
There should be no erosion underneath the ground.
So it's kind of, if there's any way you guys could pull the thing and maybe put
Was it clogging up or anything? If it was,
my house is doing good, but it's starting to collapse.
I don't know how you can tell that the sewer's collapsing.
I think the road.
If the road's
The
dipping, that
road's
doesn't mean the
collapsing.
sewer's.
The road's collapsing.
Okay, so that has nothing to do with the sewer then.
I don't know, I'm not a road sewer expert.
I think it's apparent is the closer it gets to the pipe, there was probably a gap, now there's no gap, now you're gonna be running
Is there any
more
way you
on top
guys
of the
could
pipe.
maybe lift the thing and put a camera to make sure?
Why would we do that? That costs money. Why would we check the sewer if it's flowing? I'm not sure, I'm not understanding. You're saying the sewer's sinking, now we think it's the road sinking.
The road's collapsing.
Okay, what's
And
that have to do with the sewer
I'm trying to
though?
save West Mayfield money.
You're trying to make us spend money by cameraing the sewer that's not clogged.
Do you want me to spend money? And then you could reimburse me, or?
No, I'm still trying to figure out if your sewer is running. If we're not having a sewer
How
issue,
about tomorrow, if I do?
then let us know. We can't just go out and start cameraing sewers because somebody thinks that there's a sewer issue when it's not backing up or anything.
Where's the problem at?
At the corner.
Down below
corner of
Jake and
Ross
Jeremy
Avenue
and-
He's saying the
Railroad
road's sinking.
Ross and Railroad.
Street. Ross and Railroad.
Jeremy's,
20-some years ago, you guys were good enough to put a brand new sewer line in. But now your borough maintenance guy said, "Oh, it's just subsiding."
there you go, not erosion, subsiding.
After 20-some years.
Well, takes time.
I bet that if it was your road, your street, UP.
I had issues on mine, and it cost me a lot of money.
Oh, come on, the one that I needed isn't there.
What are you after?
I got the wrong vehicle. My sewer map.
Oh, I would say I don't have that. I just have a zoning map.
Yeah, he thought it was the storm drain that you guys replaced like a year or two ago.
Well, that would make sense.
I
That
said-
would be, if
I
that's
said, no, it's
settling.
not the storm drain, it's the sewer line that runs the whole length of Railroad Street.
You're saying it's the sewer line again. Is the sewer line sinking or is the road sinking?
Well, if you don't
think
have
it's
a
the road.
clog, like if
I think he's saying
there's
the road.
If
flow,
you stand on that plate
yep.
and you walk down to the other plate, the whole road is like this.
We'll look at it. So you're coming down by my son's house, the one that they're redoing, out in front of there.
And water's pulling up out of the ground too.
Well, there is a spring running through there. That's
Well,
part
there's
of the
springs-
problem.
There's springs all over.
And I'm just wondering if that's not part of the problem. The underground
spring is
spring that's under
washing
that
it out.
road. Yeah, I doubt,
That
I
makes
don't
more
wanna say
sense.
it's not the sewer, but if everybody has good flow, it's not the sewer. These sewers that we have here, when they collapse, they plug,
Oh,
Yeah.
they fill.
When you guys did that years ago, you had to get a special backhoe because it was so deep.
Oh, yeah,
You're talking about
West
down
Third.
behind,
West Third Alley,
Well, no, that was my
Standard
mom-
Steel.
Yeah, that was my mom's house.
yeah.
Right.
But,
Yeah, that was 22 feet deep or something like that.
no, well, it's not a big deal, but while I'm here, you guys used to run a brush hog on Railroad Street
Mm-hmm.
every year. I haven't seen it done for 15 years.
We've had complaints.
Is there any way you could run a brush
Whose
hog?
property is it?
Another question, because I've talked to the railroad and I've talked to the borough, and each person says it's not our problem.
Where's
So
the,
it's along the
It's not
railroad
our
then.
problem, it's their problem.
You're saying it's along the railroad then?
Yeah. But it's in West Mayfield.
Well, I understand that. I'm just trying to get an idea of where it's at so we can, so I can go take a look.
it's on that road when you go around
Yeah.
the bend. Is that
Between
what you're
Boyd
saying?
and Ross.
Come down Ross to the railroad
Turn,
and you go like
turn
this.
left.
But if you go this way, it was a paper road.
Oh, yeah. And now they want us to plow it.
You guys have plowed real nice,
Mm-hmm.
but no one's brushed hog for.
Wait, are
10,
you
15
talking about on, across from your house?
My wife and I are taking care of from Ross to Boyd. But from Ross to White Township, no one's touching it. I mean, it's all overgrown.
Does anybody drive through there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is that one, like if you go down by Mark Mays and then come around, you're talking about right in there then?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay.
You got it.
I'm just trying to figure out where it's at.
It's like, could someone just run a brush hog?
We have the boom mower. I'll send Brian up to take a look at it.
We just gotta watch where we're booming because we got complaints when people weren't taking care of their place and we boomed it and then they came crying because we ripped their bushes out.
Or destroyed their tree, or took down a limb that they didn't
Those
want down.
couple guys on that bend there are real anal. But we're trying to keep it nice and.
Yeah. I'm okay with that, but sometimes it turns into a royal headache when we send guys down to fix something because they're never happy.
After 15 years, I wouldn't mind one brush hog.
Yeah. You wouldn't. That doesn't mean nothing about the neighbor.
I got you.
All right, we'll take a look at it.
All right, guys, I'm sorry to bother you with.
No, no problem at all.
That's what we're here for.
Yep.
If someone could just look at Railroad Street.
Yep.
Because I'm just concerned how it's starting to subside.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
I know where that outfall is there too. It's right at the bottom of the hill there.
Okay.
I'm just trying to save West Mayfield kind of some money, because I don't want you having to dig that whole
No, we don't wanna do that.
road up again. Because that was a pain.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anybody else?
No, that was it. Did anyone else come in? Nope.
Okay, Kevin?
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. President. Hey, the trash survey's done, did you see it?
I didn't see the final outcome
No, I
of
didn't
it.
either.
Yeah, I sent you all an email.
Oh, I haven't looked at my email.
And
I was,
in the email, so I linked to a new page that I created for residential trash service.
When did you send that email? Just today?
Today.
Oh, that was, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I closed out the survey, July 1st, did all the computations, put it into a nice PDF. Interesting results, really interesting, but it's there to take a look at. So
Okay.
Bob, you had questions about, what to bring to the table for the next contract stuff, so this should give you lots of,
so, in a nutshell, what'd you come up with?
okay, 74 respondents. Overwhelmingly, people like Aiken, they have no problems with Aiken. Overwhelmingly, in the 80% range, people feel that the current cost is within the budget. 15% or so say it's a hardship, economic hardship. Most people would prefer unlimited service, that's really convenient. But I asked questions about what how many trash cans you have, how many bags of trash. It actually really fits into the limited version, you know what I mean? The 2 smaller cans or the 1 large can. That's pretty much what most people actually have in terms of trash.
Normal household, yeah.
Right. And there are people who, and you'll see the figures, the people who have lots of trash every week. And almost everybody said sometimes during the year they'll have a large item, like a mattress or something. And there was a sizable group that said that they actually do have a lot of trash, at least quarterly on that. So 4 and 5 stars were mostly what Aiken got, of a 5-star range. Most of their billing issues were, most of their problems with Aiken were billing, customer service, and curbside issues. All of the comments that I got, they're all listed there. Not only related directly to Aiken, but also for council for the next contract, like what citizens would want you to consider. 60% would like to see the terms and conditions of the next contract before you all would agree to them or finalize it. I know there's, in contracts, there's a pre-decisional bit of confidentiality, but citizens say they'd at least like to know before you sign the dot, on the dotted line, what the terms and conditions are. So on this new webpage, I put that survey, but really I put all the specs about, if you're new to the borough, you can go to the page, you can see who the service is, when the trash pickup day is, who to contact if you have issues, right? For billing, customer service, contact Aiken. Contact you, Bob, if there's any issues with trash and public health and safety stuff around trash. And I also put, from the contract, the obligations for Aiken. I pulled it out, and so there's a list of stuff what they are required to do. Required to take all your stuff, required to, if you can't get your trash down to the curb, they're required to come get that, or if you're infirm or something. So there's a list of those things, stuff that they're not required to take, like paint and gasoline and stuff like that.
Right.
And then I also, from the ordinance on trash, I listed all the stuff that citizens are required to do, like have a can, to keep this stuff, their areas clean, to not put their trash out prior than 1 day to trash day. Or that's in the ordinance. So hopefully people will go there, whether they're new or they've been here a while, they can kind of see what their obligations are too around the trash stuff. So it's all there. Okay?
Good, thanks.
And so that was one thing. This is another survey thing. So George Newsom had asked us if we wanted to move forward with DCED and stuff. A good place would be to start a vision survey. And that's another community type survey, but a little more in depth, wider. Really to reach out to a lot of people about a lot of different things. Business climate, talk to the business owners, talk to Kathy about taxes, public safety, all this sort of stuff, and just get a sense of what people feel like where we should go, right, in the borough, the community, local government as well as community stuff. The park, what they'd like to see in terms of the park and recreational stuff like that. So I'd like to ask you all, if you, with this, I could start with, working with George to put together this vision survey.
I'm good with it.
Okay, he's not charging us, right?
No,
This
no,
is
no,
all free.
There's no charge, yeah. And this is, I don't think this is, right now, this is any of that stuff where you need to do a resolution. I think that's for that municipal program, municipal government program, stamp they call it. So I think we could just do this, but I'd like to get his advice and counsel on that and sort of see the best way to do this. I think there'd be a town hall involved with this online survey, and probably maybe postcards or something that go out where people can indicate stuff, or maybe a mailer of some sort. This is the kind of stuff that will feed into George's world, where he can say, okay, this deserves resources. We can put some money into this stuff going on here, but we have to have this evidence. So this may cost a few bucks, to put together with a mailing and a town hall or something. But if you're okay, I'll move on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I read that what you put out the other day about the there's something the last couple days ago about the what we're paying for advertising. That we paid all that money out.
Well, it's advertising and, what was the other word for it?
Well, legal notices is,
But like
I
the
think
stuff
that
for
one
like
was like
Whitmer or whatever.
16,000.
You have to.
well, that was, that line item was advertising plus something else.
Yeah.
And there was no way for me to cut that, I don't know how, but anyway, that's the article there. Yeah, so by running through that, so I got the municipal audit, I'm sorry. And so I put it into my spreadsheet. And I'm just curious about a lot of line items, and that was one of them. So I'm going through there and I'm looking back at all the records, and I'm trying to do this tabulation. And really what struck me is that, you have to pay for these legal notices. You just have to right now. Although, for many years though, there's been a push in the legislature to allow municipalities to put this stuff on their websites, because who reads these newspapers anymore?
Right.
So that's not here yet, but.
Needs to be.
But you know what I noticed? That we had, and I listed all the stuff there, we had, last year especially, we had a lot of meetings called that were, I think, unnecessary. Because we forgot something, we down to the wire on something. So there were probably about 4 expenses last year for meetings and what that we shouldn't have had to do that. We could have combined things together if we had thought, a bit more strategically about these things. It's not like this stuff is gonna break the bank, but it is an expense,
It's an expense.
right? And it does add up. So that's one of those line items that, it's not a biggie, but you just kind of have to.
Yeah, just like
think
this
about it.
first one, ad for bids for paving, $848 to put an ad in a paper to get
One bid.
bids for paving. Why are we paying
You have
800?
to. You.
I mean, how
legally
big of
have
an ad is that we have to
to.
pay?
And they charge you like per letter.
It's
the
no, it's
paper.
per line.
Yeah,
now.
it's like per.
Yeah, but how many lines are we putting in there?
It's expensive. I
It's
know
expensive.
whenever I quit, so my stump removal ad literally just said stump removal, free estimates, and my phone number, $285 a month.
But this is $848 for one ad.
Yeah, but that ad probably said
It
West
must have been
Mayfield
big.
Borough is seeking
Okay.
estimates
Yeah,
for
and
this,
when
this,
we-
this.
when
So
we had to
instead of it
cancel-
being this big, now it's this big.
When we had to cancel the meeting in February or March, or whenever it was, it cost like $400 to put it in the paper that we were canceling it.
Oh my.
It's expensive.
And
I
you
never
just-
realized
And that's why
it was so
everyone
much.
pushes for like
Oh, yeah.
websites, because it just makes more sense in today's times,
'Cause
but
like
we're
you
not
said,
there
there's
yet.
nobody reads the paper. Nobody picks up the paper and looks at these.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote an article back in 2013, I put it on the website. I found it, 2013, and there they were citing that the readership of newspapers was like 30% then.
Yeah.
It's way less now. Have you ever seen a copy of the
It's
Beaver
like
County Times?
12% now. I just seen a study released.
It's crazy, yeah.
It's stupid.
But one of the things that struck me was that, so there's something called the concise financial statement required by the Borough Code. It says the independent auditor should publish that after the municipal audit in a paper publication of general circulation. And it's just an overview of the budget. Years ago, they used to put the whole damn budget in there, right? So the legislature amended the code saying, well, you can put it like abbreviated version, right? And by the way, I noticed that according to those records, our concise statement hasn't been published every year. I don't know what's up with that, but it should be anyways. But maybe there's a way to, when we do these ads, these legal ads postings, that we could sort of try to condense
That's what
them
I
down.
do, yeah, I try to make them
Yeah.
as short as you possibly
Yeah, West
could.
Mayfield Borough
Yeah.
seeking
Paving bids.
seeking paving bids.
Yeah, and link to a website maybe. I mean, I don't know the specs on that, but there's probably a way to sort of save a little.
I've seen some of the ones that Pat has written out, and and I'm like, that's why that was expensive.
Yeah, you just try
You
to
don't
keep
say
it as
West
short as you
Mayfield
can.
Borough is, what do they call that? When we canceling the meeting, the new date will be on this day of this month of this whatever. No, meeting rescheduled this day.
Yeah, yeah.
Meeting canceled.
Okay, well, I wanted to, I had no idea that it was costing that much. I quit advertising 25 years ago, probably, so I used to advertise in a paper all the time. It wasn't that much back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, when I was
Them days are gone.
advertising.
Well, I put some of the graphs that I put on some recent posts. They're floating around up there somewhere. If you see those, almost every single one of them around 22, inflation just starts to go up big time. All the costs go up around that year, It's actually a pretty amazing thing. And we talked about this last night at our meeting, about, looking at the budget, looking back and sort of thinking forward. Wow, you get this really interesting picture of how our finances are. And as inflation is going up, our treasury is going down. You know what I mean? But not for every line item. That's, it's amazing. So one of the things that's floating around up there is the street lighting data that I put together. Jim Bostic started that whole LED program. There's proof in the pudding right there that how that program has saved us money big time since about 2016.
Yeah, but it never leveled off, or
No, it did. If you look at that graph,
each year it just keeps going up.
it does, but if you look prior to those lights installment, it was all over the place. It was up and down, even above inflation. It's actually holding below inflation, right? And it's smooth. The arc is smooth. And that's one of the things that you want to do in a budget. It's called cost smoothing. Like, you don't want these big swings.
Yeah.
If your costs are going up, you want them to go gradually or going down gradually, whatever. So that shows that there's cost smoothing and it's holding. So there's cost containment by those LEDs. I think it's a great success. That program.
We got all of them done now, because they came in last month.
Yeah, and
They called me, they said, we're gonna be coming in, changing the rest of them. I said, what's it gonna cost? Nothing. We have to have all these done in the county or whatever by a certain time, and it's not costing you nothing. So let's see if it goes down now or what it does, because they replaced all the rest of them.
Well, I didn't know how the billing went, so I pulled up the PUC filings for 2014, and then about the time this program was kicking in, and also the latest one, and it lists what the actual kilowatt rate is, flat rate is. It lists for this particular light fixture what the kilowatt rate is per hour, right, versus the old sodium vapor that we had. Ooh, it's a remarkable savings. And they also charge like per unit. And the LED unit is actually less than this old sodium stuff. So all the way around, we're really saving money on the actual billing month to month. And they say about 375 hours they recommend. They think they average usage per month per light. So they charge you that accordingly. But there's the graph. You can see that.
Yeah, I don't know how many more they did for free, but it'd be interesting to find out see what happens from the last couple months to the next.
I was going to comment on your post about the municipal salaries and wages thing. What is estimated increase based on COLA index?
COLA.
Who's that?
That's the cost of living index.
Oh, okay.
So every year there's a calculation of what the real cost of living was year over year. And it averages about 2.6%, right? Which is a little lower than the typical 3% that most people factor into. The police contract is 3%, fire contract, right? But if you do the actual COLA, yeah, it's less. And so there's a graph there that shows you, like, it shows you the COLA increase versus the straight 3%, and what we actually did pay. I don't know the rhyme or reason for that.
Oh, I can tell you that real easy. I mean, do you remember what we used to have working here?
Yes, but look at the graphs.
I'm looking at the graphs, and what I can tell you is, in the years where we spent $83,000 versus the times we spent $104,000, you're getting a lot more for your money.
Sure.
A lot more. But, and that's another thing too, there's another graph that you could have put in here, and that is annual salaries based on equipment operators or laborers. If you look at that part of the graph, it goes whoop straight up. You contact anybody from the union, and I'm not saying go union, but that's usually a pretty good idea. It's usually $10 less an hour for a non-union employee.
Yeah.
They're making $35-36 an hour.
Well, they're making more than that as a
Not union.
operator.
I'm talking about non-union.
Oh, non-union.
Yeah,
Okay,
union
I was gonna say.
operators, they're starting out at $43-46 an hour. So it's like,
Well,
What
that
do you
figure
do?
for salaries, that is the last item in the municipal audit. And it just says total employee compensation.
yes.
If borough officials plus the wage guys. So, you guys have not had a wage rate.
Yeah, so
I did a
there's-
graph on that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it goes like this.
You guys are making the equivalent of like $800
We're
right
not
now.
making anything.
Really? So, but, you guys, the salary compared to the wage guys, the salary is relatively small. It is the wage guys who are
Oh, yeah.
the lion's portion of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then I went back to the budgets, and there's no way to tell. The way the budget is constructed, you can't pull that out. I mean, for your salaries, Eli's salary, yes. But the wage guys, you can't. It's hard to tell.
Well, and that's another thing too. You're also factoring in overtime.
Yeah.
And when we have years where we have a lot of snow, these guys crush the overtime. This year's been kind of weird because now we've had trees down every other day. So, and they never fall during work hours.
Yeah.
They always fall at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Somewhere between the hours of 2 and 6. Ask me how I know.
Well,
I guess the point of that, the story behind that was, to me, was, okay, if you're going to put a number down in the budget for what you're going to pay next year for salaries, based on what, right? What you know to be what you paid last year, add 3%, maybe, you're going to be ahead of inflation though. So you may be paying a little bit more than you need to if you really want your workers to keep up with inflation, which might be the 2%, 2.6%. But you know what I mean? I don't think you should go below 2.6% as a general rule.
Well,
But-
that's something we also have to discuss as council as well, too, is where do we cap these guys? Because eventually, if Gerald decides he wants to stay till the end of time, and we give him that 3%, 3%, well, 3% of 20 and then 3% of 22 and 3%, you know what I mean? Like, eventually he's going to get to the point where he's making,
a lot more than an actual
yeah, and then you get
labor
an
starting out or
operator
whatever.
pulling in here and finding out that Gerald's making $9 more an hour than he is, and he's a laborer. So we have to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, some of that stuff
do
could be
that.
factored into, we talked about this last night, just sort of the guidelines for budgeting, you know what I mean? Like one guideline would be, you want a balanced budget, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But you may not have a balanced budget, but that should be justified, right? If you put any increases in anyone's salary, it should be a COLA increase at the very minimum, right? If you could go to 3%, right, the average 3%, maybe that's where you cap it, right? Unless there's a damn good reason to give someone 10% raise, you know what I mean? It might be, I don't know. But those kind of
No,
principles.
I mean we've capped it over the years at 3%. I know the last 7 or 8, meetings we had for that, it's always been 3%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some companies actually, it's not just a cap of what you get, but there's just a cap that you can't get no more, period,
Right.
So once you've hit
That's
that,
what I'm talking about.
you have to come up with that number. For a laborer, you're not gonna go past, say, $20 or $25. No matter how long you've been here, I can give you a bonus at Christmas or something, but you're not gonna go beyond it,
Usually based on like qualifications too. Yeah.
And it's been so difficult because we've had so many people. This has been a revolving door. Recently, it's been pretty good, and we haven't had anything rocky. I mean, Brian is happy as can be right now. Gerald's thrilled. So right now, we're in a pretty good spot.
They're getting along, that's the big thing.
Yeah, they're getting along. And have you guys heard of any complaints lately about the guys? They're not sleeping in trucks. They're not, hanging out down at the park. They're not flying down the streets. So things are okay right now.
Good, good. So we're gonna bring another council member on board eventually, hopefully.
Hopefully. When were you gonna start, Kathy?
Come on. So technically, so there's a 30-day clock, right? You accepted the resignation last month. There's a 30-day clock to fill that vacancy. If you don't do that, that's this next council meeting, give or take
Next
a
week.
week, a vacancy board kicks in. So that vacancy board is council plus a citizen who chairs that vacancy board. And that board has 15 days to try to find somebody. Right? So that's how that works. So
Thanks for volunteering.
I would say, yeah, I'd do it. I would suggest kicking
Get his
that.
plaque ready. Get his name plaque ready.
Well, I would suggest kicking that vacancy board in at the next meeting if you have nobody, and then
Okay.
take it from there.
Add that to the
What I don't
agenda.
know of, and I think everything what I see is that, well, matter of fact, the borough code does say that a vacancy board member is usually that citizen chair is appointed the first meeting in January of every year. So that's probably something else we put on our calendar to appoint a vacancy board chair who just may not do a damn thing, right, all year long, except when needed.
Right.
Right, but at least you have a name. And a lot of the municipal websites, I believe, they have a name there for that person. That might be a good idea too, because say Bob was our vacancy board chair. Bob could beat the bushes year long trying to, get people interested in council. And, if we have a vacancy, Bob could be that person.
He could be on council too while he's doing that vacancy board thing, right?
But the vacancy board person could be the booster, for council. Because, really, it just behooves everybody to have, to find quality candidates and people who want to be on council and people who are excited about being on council, want to change the world. So anyway, so I just wanted to alert you to that I think the vacancy board may have to kick in if we find nobody.
Do you think, making a Facebook post on the Concerned Citizens saying that we're looking for someone
I think
interested?
it's on there already.
Yeah, I made a post.
Okay.
For the vacancy, right after last month's meeting.
Okay.
I can make another one.
Just to see if any.
Yeah, there was a lot of interest in that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I didn't really.
So I can do that. I'll do another post. And all that stuff, by the way, goes through the borough Facebook page. And when it's there, I will usually
And then
share
share
it
it, okay.
over, because it's official through the borough.
Yep.
Okay, the last thing I have is, so with the new council members on board, I think we could do for some training, right? We talked about this training, the need for training, way back at the council, the candidates forum, remember that?
Yes.
And everyone said, yes, we could get behind training, but it's never happened. So, I mentioned this before about volunteering to do some training. Jenna, you and I have talked about this, setting this up. So I want to ask you, and I talked to George Newsom about this too, and he's got some leads on some resources for training. It's like, this is available, that's available, if you can make it, make it. But I thought we could do some in-house stuff, a Saturday morning, Orm's Donuts, some coffee, something like that, and just run through the essentials of what everybody should know. Like, you're all on council. There's a borough council handbook. Have you ever seen it? Have you ever read it? You know where it is. There's one for mayors. There's one for you, Kathy. There's a lot of really cool resources out there for all these positions. There's one for code enforcement. The borough code, right? Where is the borough code? What's in the borough code? We could go through that.
I've seen the borough code. It's like that thick.
It is, but it's actually pretty simple when you
He says.
kind of break it down. The borough website, right? A lot of people don't even know what's on the borough website. I've been constantly trying to upgrade it, simplify it, make it more user-friendly, like with this new page today. I'm always fooling around with it, but, every council person should know, like, what are the resources? I actually have a whole resource page on there. It's full of all this stuff that I'm talking about. I mean, links, boom, boom, go, all this stuff. Budgetary stuff, it's all there. So what I'm saying is, if you agree, I could go ahead and sort of just start pulling this together. And between now and the end of the year, maybe a day a month to have some training. Maybe we'll do one in the evening during the midweek, maybe one on the weekend or something. And just hold, just a couple hours to go through some of this stuff so everyone could be up to speed with your duties and obligations, the resources that are available to you. Mark Stowe said he would be glad to come in and talk to you about fire service stuff, what you need to know about the fire service. I'm sure Chief Johnson would do that for law enforcement. Bob, you'd be a great trainer for code enforcement.
Don't bring out no code books. I'll do my own codes, thank you. It's hard enough with.
But I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to pull this together. If you want to give me the green light, and I'm willing to even pull the training together, the resources and all that. You know, we can do a lot of this to live online, all the resources. So, you know, if you don't make this to a meeting, at least you will have that, stuff there available to you.
I think a good time to figure that out is November.
November?
Yeah, when we figure out who's gonna be on council next.
Yeah,
Well,
no sense in training and then doing the same training again in November.
well, I don't know. I mean, I think you're all gonna be making decisions August, September, July, August, September, October, November, just for the next 6 months. I want you to be informed, right? I at least want you to at least know where the resources are, right?
Okay.
It's not that big of a deal. Like, I don't want to reinvent the wheel on any of this stuff, believe me, I got enough to do. But, and I'm willing to just try to pull this together. We've never done this before, to my knowledge. So this might be a chance to get this ball going, to make it, a real thing. Factor this into the onboarding process for anybody who's new in the future.
What about more of like a webinar stance on that, where those can all be recorded, so, something that happens this month or next month or the
Yeah,
month
weekends
after.
are tough.
But even if one of us is gone, and someone else takes the place, there's that webinar that we can use in that training aspect. And
Sure.
you don't have to do a whole new.
I like the webinars.
All that stuff is open.
And it's
it
just
should
easy,
be, part of this process, sure.
I'd be for something like that, because then it's not wasted time too.
Right.
Yeah.
And at any time, you can go back and say, hey, we talked about something, I can't remember what it is, go back into the webinar and dig it out.
Yeah. Well, if you would like me to move on this, I will. And I'll just maybe reach out to you all with some ideas and stuff and kick it around, webinar stuff, and then we'll get something really concrete going. That's what I'm most interested in.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good. All right, so I wanted to talk about the fee schedule for the permits.
Well, I see Kevin's got something on here and I should have printed it. I don't have a copy of it.
We have a solid fee schedule now online.
So I made that goofy thing, but we all didn't talk about whether or not, and Kevin posted it, which was fine, but I think there's a couple things that are different than what he has on the fee schedule that I'm quickly just like seeing. So I don't really I don't know, without having to print a copy of his to compare. And to see if we wanted it like this or a different way.
Can it be changed though?
We changed it from what it used to be from Chris.
Well, we
You know,
didn't change it, we just started
We started this other form.
looking more into it, like, I was just going with what Chris was doing,
Okay.
Not knowing that it
which
wasn't correct.
Chris wasn't doing it right.
Lack
We
of
said $60
training.
for a permit, that's what we
There
were
you go, doing
doing.
it properly now.
Then
is
I'm
what it
finding
is.
out.
And it's on,
Should I give this to Kevin?
he already has it. He
Okay.
already uploaded it on
This
our
is the thing
website.
where it's a percentage of the build.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
it is.
There's, yeah,
I never realized that until we started really digging into it.
And Kevin
And
got
now
a
I've
nice
been charging
breakdown.
more and bringing more money into the borough.
he has a nice, like, broken down, it's just really hard to look at on a telephone.
Yeah, so
We
there
don't
is,
have that.
Yeah, I thought
Where,
this was.
where do you have that exactly?
Okay, so under services on the borough website, there's Unified Municipal Schedule of Fees. This is a PDF document, and it lists everything that I found in ordinances, resolutions, in meeting minutes, right? For example, the cost to convene the zoning hearing board is not anywhere except in the meeting minutes, and that was just pulled out a few years ago. But I found that and I put it in. So this, in other words, this is official. This is as official as you're gonna get. But if you remember the
I have it.
resolution to create
But
this,
this
it
size.
says,
Yeah.
change
You
it,
know.
do whatever you need to do, but make this the official thing, whatever
Yeah.
you decide to do, and you have that latitude.
Okay. And some of that's a little confusing, I think, like the way it says,
That's how the lawyers wrote it up, you know?
like something that is, you can look at it two different ways, whatever they're doing, whatever they're.
But like talking with Joe, he kind of was like, you gotta pick which way you wanna go. You know, you can't hit them for both, you know, you just gotta decide, is it better to go this way or would it be better to go
It
this
gets a little
way, you
confusing
know?
sometimes, but we're working it out. We're, anyways, the other thing is, we're gonna go with that then, what you got online, we'll just keep going with that.
I'll print it so I can.
And that could
see
be
it
amended
better.
by a motion, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, so. So if there's any
And I think
changes,
I think everything's good. It's just like I said, sometimes it's confusing. Is that an addition or is that, somebody's doing a porch? Is that an addition or is that a remodel or, you know what I mean? I guess we just gotta look at it and figure out how we wanna, whatever I decide is what it is. The other thing is the cell tower. I've been thinking a lot about this cell tower. They keep making us offers. What was that last offer? Did you have that?
I don't have that.
331. There's a graph up there.
yeah,
What I want to do is, what I'm thinking we should do is make a counter offer. See what we can get out of it, take the money. Because I worry, they're wanting to put another cell tower in up here. And if they want it bad enough, they're probably going to end up getting it, according to our attorney.
Kevin did a real good breakdown of what it would be if the last offer was accepted at like a 5% investment. And that's what that chart shows.
That's if you can get a 5% investment.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Easy.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, yeah,
Absolutely
the
easy.
bank
I mean,
has
it's a
said multiple
savings,
times it's
yeah.
easy, between 5 and 10
Okay.
usually for like a CD.
And
Well, what's
that's
the worst
compounded
case
year
in the
over year.
scenario? You say, hey, I want another 20,000 on top of this or something, and they say no, then you say, all right, then we'll just take your offer, you know, I mean.
But I'm thinking,
why not?
because I was thinking this is like 18 years or something. If at the rate they were giving us, I think I was guesstimating that it was, if they give us that amount of money, that would be like 18 years worth of them paying us.
Yes,
Without them.
that's if it wasn't invested.
So what I'm worried about is, what if somebody else puts this cell tower in here and they say, you know what, we don't need this tower anymore, so we're just gonna quit paying you for it. Which I don't think they need it now, apparently, but I mean, I don't know why they're still paying us.
No, they definitely still need it because they
need it.
just put 5G on that.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
just
So
redone
then
last year.
Why are they wanting to buy us out of it then?
They want to buy us out of it because they don't want to pay us every year for it.
Control their
Okay.
cost, yeah.
But if they put in a new tower right next door here, why would you need 2 towers?
That's what I'm
Is
it the
concerned
same
I
about.
would be
company?
thinking that's more
It's a
updated.
different company.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying it's a different company, but that very well could be their way of saying, hey, we
What
just
if
bought
they
this land
come-
for next to nothing.
Come out and say, you know what, we're done paying you. We don't need it anymore. That's what I worry
If
They
you
about.
can
look-
pull the plug.
Jenna sent me that, I asked for the contract or whatever there was, and it actually says in there, they have the right to pull that plug anytime.
So that's why I'm thinking we should probably cash out, take that money, talk with George, see if he can find us some grants that we have to use our own money, you know, and that money's still gonna be
For a
making us
startup.
more money.
Right.
Say we get, we wanna put 100,000 into the park, so we take 50 of ours, if they'll give us 50, now we got $100,000 We
You
got
just
100
made
out of
an extra 50.
Yeah. And I mean, we could use this money. We could put so much into the street, we could put so
But
much
even
into the park.
Investing it'll go more than what we're getting right now from them.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
But
just
I'm not
investing
talking
it.
about investing it, I'm talking about using it.
No, you have, well,
You would have to
know,
invest some of it,
Okay.
yeah.
you know, the first rule of wealth is you preserve what you have. The second rule of wealth is you grow what you have. So if you take that money, say you got to 331, just say you baseline, you said, we're not gonna touch 300,000, right? Draw a line right across that chart, 300,000, and look how much year over year over year you have to spend while keeping your principal there, right? That's like, you know, any retirement account, right? You keep your principal, but you're living off the interest that you're growing there. And you could, all that stuff, you could put it back into, you could borrow against it, you could do a lot of stuff with it, but you have a hell of a lot more than this annual payment.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking we need to do though, because we can get grants, but we don't have any money to match. You know what I'm saying? If it's a matching grant, if we need 100,000 and if we need 100,000 and they say, hey, we'll match, and it costs us 50, we need to start doing some of this stuff. And what I worry about is how long are we going to be able to sustain? You look at these bills going up every year. The fire department, the police department. Eventually, are we going to be able to stay West Mayfield, or are we going to have to merge with somebody else? If we merge with Chippewa, are we going to want all this money in the bank, or are we going to want to have that money already into our borough? That was another thing I was thinking.
Well, it would probably still to go to our borough, no matter what.
No,
I
if
wouldn't
we
know.
become Chippewa,
They get it.
they get everything,
everything.
lock,
Everything.
stock, and barrel.
They get the buildings, they get the trucks, they
And
get,
they'll decide
they
which
get everything.
roads would get done or what things
I
happen.
think there's a lot of work to be done getting our house in order before we cross
Oh,
that
yeah.
bridge.
And that's what I'm
But-
saying. This would help too to get. I don't want.
this will help get our stuff in order.
Yeah.
Here's what I would recommend, because you're dealing with public monies, and there's some issues, concerns about that, how you invest public monies. I would reach out to a financial advisor. Might cost you a little bit of money, it might be free, I don't know. I'd reach out to somebody who has experience with municipal investments.
Well, that's, what's his face? And that lady, didn't they say they had advisors for that, like the financial advisors?
George.
Just talk to,
Yeah,
yeah,
knew
just talk to them, right? Wherever you can find somebody, but I think somebody needs, with this experience, needs to sort of chew on this question and give us, a range of possibilities here.
And don't we have money coming from the municipal authority?
Yes.
Yeah, when's that money gonna come?
Municipal authority.
The water,
The
aqua.
water.
Aqua.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on with that, Ryan? You know anything about that?
We're not affiliated with them at all.
No.
No, we're a separate entity.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
water.
we signed papers and everything
Yeah, exactly.
for them to take over, right?
We're waiting on all those attorneys to
I'm
come.
sure.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I believe if
like
I'm
in-
remembering correctly, Joe said there wouldn't be any answers until like June or July or something, if
Well, it's
I'm
already
remembering.
July.
Yeah, once the attorneys get paid, we'll get paid.
Yeah.
It's like Sean Diddy,
It's like East House.
Last meeting I talked about the 3% debacle, I will call it, with the Comcast. We're in the middle of that contract, and there's a clause there that says you can open that up. If everyone agrees to it, you can open it up and maybe raise that up to 5%. Because one of the line items that I looked at
right?
on the whole budget stuff was this Comcast subsidy. It's going down, right? And there's talk in the legislature to try to bring that more than just cable TV, but also digital streaming, right? We ain't there yet. But that cable franchise fee is going down. But we're at 3%, and we don't need to be at 3%. We should call Comcast now and say, let's open this up and talk about it. We'd like 5%. See where that goes. Because you have another 5 years of getting 5%. That was $78,000 we lost over the 10-year life of that contract
That's your
by
job.
going with 3% instead of 5%. So we have, what's half of 78,000? Do the math, what is it?
39?
30. We have a chance to get 39 more grand over the next 5 years if we can pull that off. It's not Comcast money, it's a pass-through.
Justin, that's on the minutes. They put you on that. Yeah, they did,
Okay, yeah,
last month.
Did you make that call yet?
I did not make that call.
What are you waiting on?
If you
It's not the
give
next
me
meeting yet,
whatever,
right?
yeah, alright, I'll take care of it.
But I mean, what do you guys think about doing that? Making
sell
them a counter offer on the
Yeah,
tower
Yep.
and cashing out?
So get Dad the information on how to contact those people.
What's the offer right now? 331.
331.
So we're gonna shoot them at 4 and see what happens.
Here's what I would do. If you go, and I did a post about this, and I went back in the minutes, and I found it was, if anyone remembers, it was like 300, and then it was 315. Their offer keeps going up.
Yeah.
Right, so why do we have to hold ourselves to 331? We could say, well, hey.
no.
Well, that's why I said we need to make a
Gee.
counter offer.
Yeah, well, yeah, right.
And the
because
worst they can say is no.
they have a track record of increasing that pot.
Yeah,
Right.
500,000, $500,000, that's good.
That's almost one. That's
Shoot for the
almost,
stars, right?
Start big, then you go down.
that's almost
Yes.
1 year of revenue.
Always start big.
That because like 350 or so is about 1 year revenue. That's close to 1 year's revenue for this borough. That lump sum. That's a lot.
Yep.
So what do you think? I think 500 is too much to ask.
Nah, never.
Yeah.
Do 400.
No, but 400 is.
That's what I'm thinking.
I would start there. Because even if they meet in the middle,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even 425. What's the worst they can say? No? It's like, where you guys
Or they
at?
just pull it.
yeah, that's the scary part.
Yeah.
You go too high and they're like, yeah, no.
That's what I really worry that
It's
we're
like
gonna
buying a
lose.
house. You don't want to
No.
offer too low and
Shoot them at 4. See what happens.
That's what I'm thinking.
Let us know when the money's in the account.
Okay.
What else?
I think that's all I have. Bill didn't have nothing. Mayor,
Okay. Was Brian able to take care of Mrs. Harn?
This lady here?
This lady
Yeah.
here? Yes.
he's been working at it
Well,
out here.
yeah,
I guess.
what we're planning, I don't know if you guys seen all the digging that was
Yes,
done
yes,
back here.
yes.
We've got a couple drains that are running from the properties above us
Right.
that are all coming down here and flooding this area.
Okay.
Well, these drains got all plugged up, and I mean, they are plugged. So we're working on trying to figure out a way to tie this one in to this one down here and then tie this one and shoot it over the hill. So
Okay.
we're working on it. We're getting
All
there.
right. So did he get a hold of her?
Yeah.
I think he did.
I'm
I'm
saying
pretty
he
sure he did.
he
Okay.
did. I thought so.
All right, so that was one thing. And then the other thing was, did you take care of that? Did you look and see or try to make out? This was
The
the
hedges?
letter. Yes, this
Yeah.
was the letter I got from unknown.
Oh, let me see that. Because I got an unknown today too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, unsigned.
I'm not doing my job.
No
because of-
address.
It looks the same.
Okay, look at the printing.
I'll take it over.
Okay, you
I
can
got-
keep that.
I got one because of Deborah
Chesney
Chesnick.
or Chesney.
And I am not doing my job because the grass is still not cut. That what they don't realize, whoever's sending it, they don't realize we have one step at a time we have to do. We've gone to the magistrate again.
Some of it, we were in limbo waiting for.
Yeah, we've been waiting on the
Legal answer.
attorney. We still haven't got an answer from
No,
him. So
but-
we just,
We moved on without it,
And that's
you know.
her name.
Okay.
So
And the
we're
last-
just-
Then there was one more thing. There was a Tristan Carruthers.
Okay, I'll do it. Sorry,
That-
I'm just looking at it.
Tristan Carruthers that showed up here when I was trying to sign up a solicitor that never came, which was fine with me. I waited a half hour. Does that name sound familiar to anybody?
Who?
Tristan Carruthers.
Nope.
Andrew's a Carruthers.
No.
But he's from Chippewa.
Andrew and Sam Carruthers.
No.
He
Rosie.
graduated.
Oh, that's right, Carosi. That's
What
it.
year
And he said he was gonna leave a resume in the box
For what?
he wants to know if he could find work here in the borough.
Do you know what he looks like?
What kind of work's he looking for?
Any work. He'll do anything. He knows to ask for Jenna or Jake, and he's gonna put it in that box, but that was his name, he gave me nothing. And then his mother drove him down. Okay, so that, he would be on the camera, do the cameras work out here?
Yes.
Are you-
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, they're working.
Alright, well, he was out here one afternoon.
Well, I heard the fire department's hiring.
Okay. Right,
Jen, did you get anything out of the box today or yesterday? Was there a check or something, or what was that? Somebody called me about it, and they said, what box do I put in? I said, put it in the
Oh
lockbox.
yeah, it's for a park rental, I got it.
For what?
A park rental,
That's what
I
it
got
was, yeah, okay, I forgot what it was.
I got it.
What else you got, Mayor?
the last thing is from the corner tavern. The owner called and they're thinking about looking into getting a flashing light at the corner. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna take place, but they do wanna come to the meeting next week.
What is a flashing light?
Flashing
Like
light,
yellow.
because of the danger of the
They gotta
speeders
do
on
that
there.
through PennDOT.
I explained this is a PennDOT road, this
Yeah.
is not West Mayfield's 37th Street. I don't know what happened on Wallace Run, but she brought that up to me. I'm
Oh, the
unaware of
stop sign?
that. Something happened on Wallace Run,
Yeah.
some accident, I don't
Yeah,
know what
there was-
happened.
Recently?
Yeah, it was recent. It was like, her name is, she lives in Big Beaver. Her name's Sue. She was pulling out from Big Beaver's side of Wallace Run and went to go turn in the, called you about the
The sign they
mirror.
got, yeah.
Yeah, the mirror wasn't placed properly, so whoever was coming from under the, underpass, she couldn't see them because the mirror wasn't right and she got
There's a
T-boned.
mirror there?
Yeah,
It's a small mirror.
it's small. It
Wow.
doesn't do its job. I mean, I drive that road
Yeah.
every single day. It doesn't do its job. And
I
I
never
called
even
Jake
look
because
for
I was
a
like,
mirror, I
whose
just
mirror
look
is
each
this?
night and take off real quick.
But
Well, anyway, that's
that's
what
what she's
they are,
talking about.
that.
It got fixed, didn't
It
it?
did. It got fixed.
I'm
I mean, it
not
doesn't
sure
work still.
PennDOT's
It
gonna
got
go for
fixed.
this, they have to do studies, that.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a state road. That's
You
so I was
know.
like, is there our mirror? Because
We are
the
not
mirror
getting
was like
involved in that.
hanging like.
So they
You know
are
what I'm
gonna
talking
come, I know
Yeah.
it's a big ordeal
I
to
only know
get
because I
a,
drive it every day.
Yeah, we'll leave that,
there's never been one there,
we'll leave that
ever.
up to them.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm about.
So what is their concern?
Safety.
Like,
I don't think there's been any,
I think it's worse pulling out the next street up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, are they worried about like crossing the road,
I'll tell you how you fix it.
walking, or
Speed bumps.
There'd be no reason to walk there.
you know what,
unless you're
Yeah.
there's not,
hammered.
that's not gonna happen.
You decide to walk
No.
down.
Yeah, but
walk
there's no
down.
parking there. You know what I mean? It's just the
Sore
auto shop
subject.
there.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be discussed next Wednesday when they come, but I know
Let them
it's,
deal with that, and we won't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
We'll move right along,
yeah,
let them deal with PennDOT on that one,
okay.
cause that's,
I mean,
that's,
the
that
borough
has
will
nothing to
not
do with
be-
us,
yes,
that I could think of.
okay.
Alright,
That was what I had left. Thank you for
no problem,
all
thank
those
you.
things.
Jenna, you're up.
I got an email the other day for an opening for, it's called a 904 grant round. And essentially what I took from it, from what I read, was it says the Department of Environmental Protection has opened up the 904 performance grants to claim materials from calendar year 2024. So I just wanted to see if you guys wanted me to look into a little bit more to see if we qualify for anything to like get reimbursed from what we spent from last year. That's the way I took this email. It's from the actual state of Pennsylvania. It went to every single, you can see, it went to every borough.
Do
Nice,
you
CC.
wanna do it?
I just wanna know if you guys want me to look into it. I don't think it would ever be a bad idea to get reimbursed for anything. We might
Did
not
we
even
do
qualify.
anything last
That's what I'm
year?
saying. I can look and see if we even qualify for it, but
Yeah,
I didn't wanna do it and be a waste of my time, I guess,
Yeah, what-
basically.
I think the only thing we bought last year was gravel and some mulch.
Yeah, which might not count, but
But it
I
might.
could look and see. I feel like it would be silly not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sweet.
yeah.
Okay.
Would
I
it
mean, I
also-
literally, I just got that Friday.
I guess we
so-
did buy a bunch of gravel and stuff last year, I don't
Yeah.
know if that would have anything to do with that.
Okay. The
Was
only
that
other
last
thing,
year, Jake?
yeah, it was last year.
Park fence?
Park fence, Bob and I just talked about this the other day. Does anybody know any fence companies that could fix the fence? Cause Bob has been trying to call one that's local and they're not getting back to him. So does
I'll
anybody
try
know
again.
any like personal
Who
fence
did you
companies
try?
that could fix the?
I know-
Glass Block Pro.
Okay,
about
Mr.
Dalton?
Fence, but that's out of Elwood.
Zach Dalton, he owns a fence company.
We'll get a hold of him then.
Yeah, that was just why I wanted to bring that up. If
Okay,
anybody had
yep.
any ideas that they could send over to Bob for him to call and get quotes on that, cause the insurance is waiting on me.
They didn't send an adjuster down?
No, they want a quote first. Like,
That's crazy.
I'm just telling you what the
Yeah.
insurance
We'll
company
get
said.
Oh, no, you're fine.
It's not
I'm
like it's
mad
hurting
about it.
anything.
I
Yeah,
thought
You know,
for
no,
sure they
it's
would've
not,
sent
but,
somebody
you know,
down.
it-
We have
looks
plenty
bad.
of time to get it fixed, so
And they're in a hurry for it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks terrible.
The baseball people,
I'm sure. But
Well,
things-
there's something about it. It has something to do with the organization. So it's not baseball people, it's because of the regulations for the field itself.
okay.
They can't play
So,
on it, I think, if
yeah.
if the fence is any type of damage, they can't.
They have to report that to Beaver County Baseball Association.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll
All
get
right, I'll get on them. We'll get a hold of both of them.
The last thing that I wanted to bring up, which coincides with everything we just talked about earlier, was obviously you guys know this is personal, but I've taken on a lot. I've helped a lot. I'm looking for a raise. I don't know what that number looks like. I did some research. White Township, which is similar in size, which means similar money, coming in, similar work. Their treasurer is getting paid $30,000 a year. I get paid $11,000. Big Beaver, also similar in size. So what we have 1,167 people, West Mayfield. White Township has 1,318 people and getting paid $30,000, and Big Beaver has 1,785 people, which is like 500 more people, not much. Similar workload. Their secretary gets paid $52,000 a year. I understand, we're not rolling dough out here. I'm not saying that, but I feel like I should be compensated properly
Me too.
for what I'm doing. The average secretary treasurer in Pennsylvania makes $35,000 a year for 1,500 people. We're a little under that, but I just wanted to bring that up. You guys could talk about it, discuss it.
How much you want?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
500,000.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
Like Mayor says, shoot high.
Yeah, shoot high.
How many hours do you do?
A
When am I
lot.
not working? That's the true answer. Is I'm constantly.
How many hours are you supposed to be?
I don't think there's a set number.
There isn't.
There was never a set number.
You're not a 40-hour a week kind of thing.
I mean, I definitely work more than 40. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I just asking.
Yeah, no, I'm saying there was never a set hours. It was kind of like, here's what you do. I'll tell you that I definitely work more than 40 hours a week. I will promise you that. My daughter actually comes in my office all the time. What are you doing? Come on. So I just wanted to ask.
Yeah,
Fair
you
enough.
deserve a raise.
Thank you. And I wanted to give you guys real numbers. I didn't want to be like, I just want to raise. Everyone's similar. White Township's the same as us. Big Beaver's the same as us. And they're getting paid triple
We'll have to
to.
discuss that at the budget meeting.
So you're saying this won't happen till next year? Because
Well, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I don't know how you can, I have no idea.
Are we allowed to just,
Kevin would be
Do
the one
that?
to ask on that.
like, if we didn't budget for it this year, could we give her a raise halfway through the
Yeah,
year?
you can open up the budget anytime you want. I don't know who was spreading that rumor. That's
I
not,
think it was Pat.
you can open up that budget. You shouldn't.
I thought it was only the first month of the year that you could open it up.
No, you know what that's about? That's to prevent anyone from jacking the old council, right? Screwing over the old council, right? And what they determined. But you're allowed to open up the budget for legitimate reasons, of course. It's not good practice to open it up left and right. But if you have something that's worthy like this, sure.
Okay.
Sure. I think it would be prudent to look at the real finances. Like look at one of the things I'd like to bring up at the next meeting is the municipal audit. And some of the stuff that came down, again, in the transmittal memo from the independent auditor. But there's your real numbers right there. Those budgets are fictional. Those audits, man, they tell you what we have in the bank and what we're spending. And I think if you look at that, you'll find that the resources,
Yeah.
I believe.
So where do we go
Yeah,
from
what's the
here?
next steps on something like this? I mean, obviously, we'd probably have to do our own research maybe a little bit, but I totally agree.
Yeah. I mean,
But I don't
know
know
next steps. Yeah,
I don't
that's on
know
you guys at
anything
this
about
point. I've done my end and
this.
showed you guys what everyone else is making.
So
You know?
you're getting like
I'm-
just under $1,000 a
My
month.
paycheck is like $818 a month after taxes. Which is- It's not even minimum wage, like in the lowest standard of the form. And I personally would like to think I bring more to the table than
Yeah.
minimum wage.
Average I think the best question to ask is, in an average week, how many hours do you put in?
I would say between 40 and 50, like at the minimum. Like
Okay.
between paying bills, answering calls,
Yeah.
doing
I know, you call
everything.
me all hours of the day.
I mean, I'm literally constantly working. I'm not kidding.
Right.
Like I'm not being dramatic when I say that.
Well, here's
So-
what I would suggest. You probably need a real number, right, from you. That does not have to be public because that's a employee negotiation thing. So you could take that real number, run through the budgeting, see where that can be found or whatever. And if you can make that happen, then you can go public with that and say, oh, okay, we can make this work, or if
Why
find
don't
can't.
you try and figure that out and then say, then we can add an extra so much to your paycheck. I'm just gonna throw out a number. Let's just say you throw an extra $1,000 a month into your paycheck until the end of the year. And then we discuss at the next budget meeting from there, if you know what I mean. Basically, you're doubling your money now.
Whatever. I mean,
But at $35 an hour, with a typical 40-hour work week, you're looking at $16.82 an hour, which I think is beyond fair. It's like cheap.
That's
16
double
bucks an
what
hour.
she's getting right
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah. It's actually triple what she's making
It
now.
would be like 32,000 a year. When you're
Yeah,
doing
I mean,
16. That-
technically right now, if she's working 14 hours a week, you divide that by, hold on, what was I doing? 3. You're making $5.60 an hour.
Jeez.
That's,
So see if we have it in the budget.
I mean, I'm promising you we do.
You're gonna find it.
oh, she needs to find it.
I mean,
But I mean,
Yeah.
so we should be able to, should we get together before the next meeting? Can we get together before the next meeting so we have a number to bring to the meeting? Or you just wanna, where do we go here? I wanna
Does
get
this
you,
go in executive session?
It will end up having to.
Yeah, it would have to go in the.
Well, this
Because
was
you
the
can't-
average
You can't
right
talk
here,
about
right?
somebody's pay.
Yeah, this
Will
is
you
average.
quit, will you quit for average?
Not until it's public, not until you
Or
decide.
do you want like 50?
Then it is
50K. I don't know what you're looking for. Like, I'm not trying to lowball you, but at the same time, I'm not trying to bankrupt West Mayfield
and
either.
that was not my, obviously, that's not my, I did it for $11,000, come on. That's not my goal, at all. I mean, I think 50 would be dramatic. I'm not in an office.
Yeah.
40, I'm at home.
Yeah.
So I think 50 would be dramatic, but I definitely think we could maybe not publicly
Yeah.
discuss it. I think it should definitely be more. But I just wanted to put it in everyone's ear,
Absolutely.
like now,
Yeah.
before it gets to a point where I'm like frustrated,
All
I
right,
guess,
put it in the
basically.
agenda.
Well, we have to talk about it privately. We can't put it on the agenda. We gotta
That's
talk
key.
about it and then it
executive
could be-
session
Yeah,
Yeah.
will be
Put
on
that
the agenda.
Put that on the
so
agenda.
after next week's meeting, an executive session.
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
I will do that.
You know, you can do executive session anytime. It doesn't have to be after the meeting, you can do it before.
No, I didn't know that. Well, that's what we
Yeah.
need to do then, so we can say
As soon
it,
as
so
you
we
get started,
can,
You could say, okay, we're gonna have one. I mean.
that way at the next meeting, we're ready to go.
Yeah. Okay.
So, okay, do you guys wanna stay after next meeting or do you wanna come before next meeting? What do you guys, I mean, I know that's hard with, especially you.
Can we do executive before the meeting even starts?
That's what he's saying,
That's
you
what
can do
he
it anytime.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that. Start a half hour
As long
early.
as the public knows that there is executive session.
Executive session starts
Yeah,
at
have it
5:30, regular meeting starts at 6.
Brian wants to know if we can do it tonight.
Can we just have it tonight?
No, because we don't have
We don't
enough
have-
council members here. Or do we? Yeah, we
We
do.
Yeah, we do. We
We're
got
only
4.
missing,
Yeah.
We're missing 2.
So yeah, we got,
it's up to
we
you
got a
guys.
quorum.
I mean, I'm
What's a quorum?
obviously okay. 4, you're good. It's up to
Okay.
you guys.
Yep, we can do that.
You wanna do it tonight?
Yeah, but that's not on the agenda. Are we allowed to do
Doesn't
that?
matter. This
Oh,
is a
okay.
workshop.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, technically,
Well, if we can have it any time, it's after the meeting.
yeah, but there should be public notice of it, though. There
Of,
was no-
executive
executive
session.
There was no public notice. Yeah, you have to have public notice of all.
Just tell the public, they're right there.
Why don't you just,
Why-
why don't you just
so
do
you have to
30 minutes
advertise a-
before
An executive session?
next week? I mean, what's, you know. come
All right,
up
do it
with
before the
30.
next meeting.
Okay.
5:30.
Okay.
And it might give you a little more time to sort of.
Are you okay? Is everyone okay?
We're good.
Are you good?
Yeah.
I'll be even better when I'm home eating.
Me
Take a
too.
shower.
That's the 9th.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
Sounds
guys.
good. Jenna, did you have
Appreciate you all.
anything
No,
else?
that was everything. Thank you.
Okay, Tina? You wanna talk about your landlord?
I don't
Again?
know.
Or-
No, you guys all should be talking about it, whether or not you wanna do anything with those.
Yeah, we do.
emails.
Why aren't we
We're all
doing
good
it?
with it?
Yeah.
We've sent
What changes on those forms or anything? Any suggestions, any?
The only
And-
person who said they had a change was Bill.
And
And
if
He's
he's,
not
he
here,
didn't
so
read.
we're
yeah,
not
he's
worried.
not here
He
to,
didn't read any of
yeah,
this.
so I think everybody else was,
Okay,
was good with
yeah.
it, right?
All right.
Yeah, I'm good
Yeah.
with it.
We'll bring it up, that'll be
So I
on the
think, yeah,
agenda
I'll
for the
put it on
next
here.
meeting.
And we'll raise it another $100, which will go to her. Good.
I like the way you're thinking.
Raise what, another $100?
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever he says, raising more money
Oh,
to go in the budget for her money. Good.
All right, I got a few
And we
things.
voted on that. Good.
So I don't know what the heck's going on with this street paving ordeal. So Bill's supposed to be getting a hold of Widmer to figure out if we have to go through Widmer to get these small patches put in. And then we have to figure out through Widmer who's actually allowed to bid on it, like what requirements the state has.
I was talking to Tony Oleastro, and he says he does Koppel.
Yeah,
He does all that through them, and they don't do it through their engineer.
but in order to use the government money
The
that's
liquid fuel
given
money.
to us from liquid fuels, he has to make sure that the right people are doing it, is what he's
Yeah,
telling
and
me.
he's, and
So right
that's
now
what
we
Tony
are
was saying, that he's able to do all that.
with liquid fuels.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But let Bill find
yeah,
out.
we're gonna let Bill do his thing. Bill's working on it, so
Brian,
that's
say what you
done.
wanna say.
No,
What?
Yes. Brian wants to add 2 cents.
Give me 3 cents.
I'm good. He's been working on it for how long?
I know.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know.
So do you want me to call Woodburn?
How long? Yeah, seriously, how long does it actually take to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, can we do it this way?" Or
We'll
do we?
find out next Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah, then he's gonna drag on the whole meeting when he should be here helping us
I know.
figuring this out.
So that's where we're at with street paving right now. All of the street paving has been marked. All of the locations are numbered. We have everything down on a spreadsheet. So now these guys, they'll have a bid packet and they're just gonna look at it and go, number 1, this is how much I wanna put on it. Number 2, this is how much I wanna put on it. And then at the end of it, it would be really nice if this was already done, but I could go through there and go, okay, we have X amount of dollars to spend. These are most important, these are least important, this is what we can afford, and we do it. That's where we're at. I don't know what's gonna happen. We might not get paving this year. The other thing I got, so I put on here parks, so the fence thing, that's turned into the insurance, that's all done. We're just gotta get somebody to do it. Then Scott McGee reached out to me. Right now that it's kind of off season. They had a great year this year, and they all wanted me to tell you guys thank you for all the love and support that West Mayfield has given to them. So that's fantastic. They are still going down there, pulling weeds, spraying weeds, dragging the fields. They were just down there last week doing that. They got a guy that supposedly wants to help out with spraying the fields for free and use a banner or something. But it's a legit spray where it's gonna wipe the stuff out and it's not gonna grow back type thing.
Good.
So they're working on that deal right now. There's another thing going on. So something happened with a baseball field somewhere and somebody needs a baseball field. So Rage Softball reached out to Scott and said, hey, is there any way we can play in West Mayfield? So Scott called me and he's like, Jake, they reached out and I didn't know how to answer it. And I said, well, I'm not opposed to it, but are they willing to bring something to the table?
Yeah, they make a lot of
You
money.
gotta do something for the borough. And Scott's like, I agree 100%. Whatever money we get for them goes directly back into parks. I said, work out a deal, see what you can come up with. So he is currently working on that. But it's gonna be council's discretion, you know, so that's something we'll talk about at the next meeting to find out what your guys' thoughts are on it. Like, do we have a set price? Do we just wanna see how much they wanna give us and kind of
See
go
what
back
they're
and forth?
gonna offer.
I'll call Scott before the meeting next week to see where he's at with that, and then it's gonna be a yay or a nay, but it sounds like they really need it, so they might pony up. But Scott also said that Rage told them that they agreed to let West Mayfield Youth Baseball run the concessions down there, so any of the money that they make during that tournament will go right back into West Mayfield Baseball Organization, which is a pretty cool deal as well. So that's
But
what
they have a lot of tournaments. They have a lot of weekend
there's only
tournaments.
one tournament they're interested in right now.
Okay.
But-
Yeah, because Rage plays out a lot out in Ohio.
This is one of those things, it could work out in our favor that if they like these fields, right now, like I said, it's off season. Nothing's getting done down there. Those guys have to go down there weekly to drag these fields and do all this field maintenance when nobody's playing on the fields. So now if you get somebody else that comes in during the off season, the fields keep getting maintained. Those guys will have to go through, drag the fields, spray the weeds, line the bases, whatever they do down there. So might work out pretty good in our favor. And Rage has money. That's a big organization.
It is.
And they charge a lot of money for each kid.
They do.
So just something to throw out there. I mean, we've got our feelers out, and if we can fill in the blanks, that'll be cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Currently, right now, I think Adams guys are down there practicing. They don't hold tournaments down there. But if anybody sees a bunch of blue jerseys down there, don't panic. Adams been really helping the borough out. So that's
Okay.
where we're at.
Ryan, you have nothing?
Nope, I'm good.
Justin?
I'm gonna obviously keep it short, but I just went kind of through that audit report, and like I said, I'm all new to this, so but that letter has a whole bunch of information on there. So I just kind of wanted to make everyone aware is like, you know, the deficit from last year was like $93,527, right? So from what we took in to what we spent. And then one of their other suggestions was basically there's no fixed asset ledger. And it kind of like struck a chord with me whenever I was listening to one of the meetings before I was on here is of like the insurance adjuster saying, hey, what do we have? Oh, we don't have that anymore and stuff like that. So one of their audit thing is, or one of the suggestions in that audit is to put that together. So maybe, you know.
Did a list of all the equipment.
Like the computers, the new printers, you know, all that stuff, because that kind of gets all adjusted as well. So
I just did a list with Tracy Popovich with Caputo because they were giving us a quote for insurance.
okay,
So I can throw that into a asset ledger.
yeah,
Like everything I have, it has serial numbers, all that stuff I put together last week for Tracy.
perfect.
We'll just throw that.
Miles, buildings.
And then they have the other thing was just like their suggestions of oversight of bank statements, payroll, and no formal like anti-fraud policy. So I mean, I can put something together like that, kind of work with you
Sure.
on that. But that's basically what they suggest, and I think they've been suggesting it for. I think 15 years now, give or take. I think that letter doesn't change from year to year. You know, I think they've been suggesting that from year to year. So, just
Justin, can I say something about that?
sure.
What really strikes me about that whole thing is, yes, we don't have a second set of eyes on the books. They recognize that as poor accounting practices, right? But also it opens us up to fraud. Same person's looking at the money coming in, documenting the money, sending the checks out. No one's there to verify that. Standard practice. What really bothers me though, is we've never heard about this issue before, right? Pat sent me the municipal audit the other year, she sent me the transmittal memo, which says, this is for only the people who this needs to go to, right? It's public record, you could get it. But she sent it to me, and that's where I saw this stuff from a couple years ago. Nothing's changed. For all these years, Pat was doing the books, right, with the auditor. Nothing has changed, right? I can't believe that the auditors have not flagged this year after year after year after year. But what really bothers me is this was never discussed around this table. This has got to change. This is so counter to good governance, so counter to open and transparent finances, public monies, it just boggles my mind. So I hope, now that we have this, we just got this municipal audit, now we have this memo, I hope you all can have a chance, Justin, you're probably the guy to lead this charge, to really look at this and say, well, gee, what the hell do we do about this? Because you just can't keep doing this. You know, and what they say in that thing, they say, look, if you don't have the staff, the resources for staff, you just better admit you're open up to fraud or potential risk. Just come to grips with that. That doesn't sit well. That's not gonna sit well with the public, with any measure of good governance, no matter how you measure it. So something's gotta be done about this.
And it's right in that letter that was sent out for that audit. Just those suggestions, I say, you know, we got it, let's use our heads, yeah.
Definitely.
Any questions on that? I mean, and then just the, from the last meeting, we passed that resolution to appoint Jenna as the open records officer. I put together basically a we did a resolution to appoint a record person. So I have a resolution for next meeting to basically actually appoint Jenna as that. And I also put together the policy for that as well, and I'll work with Kevin, but basically we'll need a motion next meeting to basically just put that policy into. So I have like a printout of it if you want to look at it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward on
What that person's duties.
yeah, and just
whatever.
like how someone would request something, it's all according to like their law. There's that, and here's a copy of that resolution too. The only thing is like in the policy, Jenna, we would just have to see your contact information. And then I also have, once that's appointed, that's the form, and that's where it needs to be either faxed or sent so that you're actually on a website somewhere. There you go.
Good job.
Alright,
Thanks.
Fantastic.
Hey, did we talk about last meeting about getting a 6-month CD or something with the money that we have in the bank?
Thank you.
Did we talk about that?
Jenna brought that up.
I'm sorry, I missed it. What?
That was a month or 2 months
Didn't we
ago.
talk about putting some of our money into a CD or something?
Yeah. So
Meeting with someone, yeah. She
yeah, we
brought
have
it.
to meet with someone at the bank. First National in Chippewa, they're really difficult to get a hold of. So I actually just took it upon myself. I personally bank at First National in Beaver Falls. I've, my husband's business is through there, our personal bank's through there. So I've been running a lot of stuff from us through Beaver Falls, like
Okay.
word wise. The problem with First National Bank is that wherever your account is housed is who you have, what the branch you have to deal with.
Oh, so we have to deal with Chippewa.
Right.
I deal with them all the time. Do you want me to talk to them?
I mean, if you can get a hold of them, great, because it's
I
like
go there.
That
yeah,
new guy sucks.
yeah.
They're a pain, I know, but
They're
I
a pain.
get
I
through.
have had, I'm not kidding, at least 4 calls a week into him about getting a meeting for us so
You know what?
I'll talk to them.
Put a phone call into corporate up there.
I've
Let 'em
tried
know you're
that.
out.
I'll just talk to them in Chippewa. They always talk to me.
Either that or
Well,
go
they
through
burned
Edward Jones.
Yeah.
Do that too, because that's our fire department. We have an investment through them.
Yeah.
Chippewa, I should say.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've just been waiting for them to call me back with a date for us to, now Justin, of course, because he's in finance, or whoever else wants to come, it's completely open, you know.
Yeah, I think
to-
Candace said she.
Candace said she would come, yep.
Sounds like a great time.
So I'm literally just
Yeah.
waiting for
It's a good
someone to
thing.
call me back, you know?
Okay.
So, I mean, I can't really do much outside of that, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, really, you're just looking for a CD or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's not that
So
hard. I used
all
to
I
work at
gotta
the
do,
bank.
if I could
It's
just
not
go
that
there
hard.
and they can tell me what it is, and then I can
Give them
bring
a
it.
rough estimate of how much money we wanna throw in.
How much do we wanna invest?
That's up to you guys.
I mean,
Um,
how much are we sitting on year after year after year?
I will
that
tell
we're
you.
not
To a
using?
half a mil.
I would say I would tell you that our account, since I have taken over in January, has not been below $500,000, not one time, at all.
So,
So the amount
would
we're
it be
coming in.
safe to do 500, or should we?
No,
you
I
never wanna
wouldn't.
dump your
No,
So like 300?
I would say maybe
It
in
sounds like a cell phone tower.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I would say just from my personal opinion, just from working in banking for years, I mean, just to start, I would go 100, 150 just to be safe, so everyone else feels comfortable as well, citizens. You know, no one feels like we're dumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into, you know,
Okay,
a risk. That would just be my suggestion. But that's up to you guys, of course. But I mean, yeah, it is scary. It's but the thing is that you can always pull it out. Yeah, you might get a fee.
well, I thought they had like set amounts.
They
You
do.
put-
Some do. Yeah.
I mean, then we're safe.
It just kind of depends on like
No.
what CD you go through.
I'll see what they have to offer.
It's-
Yeah,
I'll
if
see
you
if
can
I
get an
get
answer, that would be
somewhere with them.
fantastic because they won't answer me. So
I think we should put it all in Bitcoin.
I was gonna make that joke.
If you would've done that before Trump got in, we'd have had a lot more money in there.
All right. Well,
So Bitcoin.
we have been on everybody about grass, garbage, vehicles. I got 3 of them moved from yesterday till today, down on West 4th. I mean, it's nonstop.
Is-
People calling me.
Did Joe get you the letter for, I think last meeting he talked about drafting a letter to actually use as like the nuisance ordinance?
Yeah, he said he would.
Okay,
Yeah, it didn't happen.
alright,
Didn't happen. Maybe I don't.
We even had an appointment with him,
okay.
and it's just not happening. He's just
No.
so far backed up or something, we can't.
I did my own and we mailed it out certified yesterday.
And we'll just call ours good.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm
I got one more thing, and I don't know who can work on it or figure it out. So it kind of goes towards ordinance, but I know we have a noise ordinance, and there's the schedule of fees with the fines that come with that and whatever else. Is there any way we can do a fireworks ordinance?
No.
Because there has to be something. There's got to be some sort of way that we can not make fireworks illegal, but after midnight.
That would go under noise. Doesn't have to be
Yeah.
fireworks, it's just noise.
Yeah, but I feel like if we had a fireworks one, if these people got the money to blow up all the time, they got the money to pay a heftier fine.
Well, they have to be. I saw online yesterday and today on Facebook, Pennsylvania State has an ordinance on
Yeah.
that. 150 foot from cars or house, from 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, except for New Year's, 4th of July.
Well, we're
And
running
another
into a problem. So last week, my neighbor's fence got blown up by a half stick of dynamite. And
That's illegal.
they're friends of this household. And you call the police can't do anything about it because there's nobody there. And every time a firework goes off at 3 o'clock in the morning and scares the living hell out of everybody in the neighborhood, he don't come to the door because he knows that they can't come in. So it's one of those things like, I would love to have like we
Is it
know
the
it's
same
you
house?
type, yeah, you know
Is
it
it the house that put one off last year and almost hit my daughter's window?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's also your property that lost the fence.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Jeffrey's
Jeff's brand new
Jeff's
fence
brand
got
new
blown
fence
up.
that he just spent $14,000 on.
He ought to go.
And I found
he ought
the
to go
guy.
kick his ass.
So, well, no, here's how we handled this. The one, I went and beat down the dude's door. The dude ratted out his buddy. I contacted his buddy, explained to him what was going on. This guy is a registered fireworks dealer. I come to find out. And he's terrified because he thinks I'm going after him for his license and whatever else. I said, no, I want you to pay for the fence. So tomorrow, the fence guy's coming down and they're gonna write out a nice bill and he's gonna pay it. But my neighbors still think it's funny at 2 o'clock in the morning after this happened to light off half sticks of dynamite.
I also have neighbors.
It's getting annoying. Like these fireworks are getting really
just
annoying.
really too
Why don't
late.
you call the state police?
It's through the weekday. I mean, we're doing through the weekdays.
I don't know. They don't care.
It's every
Get the name of the guy.
And it's not just the fourth. It goes on for a month straight,
Last
sometimes
year,
2 months.
I think it was what, August or September that firework almost hit
Yep.
Brielle's window?
It's dangerous. Like our
It was in my
houses.
driveway.
Where in West Mayfield does somebody live 150 yards from a house?
I thought it was.
Nowhere.
Oh, I thought it was broader.
Or even feet. I mean, realistically,
I
like
thought they just passed something, I'd have to look, but I thought they passed something, the last couple years. It was kind of rolled into the online gambling, bill that passed in PA, where you could basically launch off fireworks
Yes.
almost anywhere.
yeah.
I think the cop told me whenever what's his name come out with a bat, I could have swore he came down and said, are you 75 feet away from the house? I said, yep. So I think it's 75 feet, if I remember right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was told
But
500 feet by a cop.
I can double check.
I would like to have an ordinance, our own ordinance that says not 150 feet,
I need to
but
reach out.
500 feet.
Chief Johnson.
Or
Yeah, but who's gonna, they don't answer the door, so what are you gonna do?
Enforces it as well.
How are you gonna
Exactly.
prove it?
I don't know.
That's the
I don't know.
problem.
There-
Unless the cop's sitting there watching them,
Yep.
or unless somebody's filming
And
them.
here's the thing, even if we go over there and we put a little yellow tag on his door saying, we have a noise ordinance, blah, 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 you're not allowed to do this. If you do it again, we're going to magistrate. You go to the magistrate, what's he gonna say?
Yeah,
He's
you
not
don't
gonna-
have
Oh, we
proof.
have no
This is
proof.
turning into a problem.
You know, have no proof, you know?
Jeffrey ought to go down and kick his ass.
Jeff's trying to stay on the up and up.
I know. 5 years
He's
ago,
doing a
Jeff
pretty
would
good
have.
job.
But now like this,
Yeah, you would have.
if documentation of like the fence being blown up, you know, took pictures of it and stuff, I mean, something like that might be able to say to the magistrate, here, look.
I had to
you
do
know?
some serious digging to get this one figured out. But you know what? If that's what I gotta do, that's what I'm gonna do. And I feel bad, like, the police keep saying, well, why don't you report it? Because every time I report it, nothing happens. So I'm just gonna start doing it myself. And they get mad because I go after these people. But like,
Well,
nothing
cop
bad
ain't-
against the
if
police,
he-
but
if they-
legally they can't do anything. So like, what's the point in wasting their time?
Well, I think next week with the chief here, that's the time to ask that question.
Search
Yeah.
engine, PA fireworks, law, it's on there.
Okay.
All right, is there anything else, anybody? Good meeting, we're adjourned. So the next meeting will go real fast.
Yes.
We already discussed everything.
Yes.
That is the goal.